In this video, we will be looking at very scary. True. A ghost whispers my name. Horror stories. One day when I was about 12 years old, I heard my name being whispered in my ear. I was home alone. I distinctly heard my name being whispered right into my left ear. I jumped out of my skin and screamed. Then I just ran out of the house to get away from whatever was there. When I looked back, everything was normal. No one was there. I still don't know who or what was there, but I never heard it again. Only my name, my actual name, has been whispered in my ear. To this day, it is the only time anything like that has ever happened, and no one else was in the house. The doors and windows were all closed. We have a weird house with lots of open spaces and creaky floorboards, so I often hear things that could just be explained by the house settling or some animals in the walls. But this was not one of those times. It was definitely a voice, and even though I couldn't see anyone, I'm sure it was a person. There was no mistaking it. I felt the breath on my neck. I lived in an old Victorian house in New England when I was younger. One night I awoke in my bed and thought I heard someone calling my name. At first I assumed it was my husband because he sometimes calls me from downstairs where he watches TV before bed. When I realized it was my name, his name, and our dog's name all in succession, I sat up in bed. Then I heard footsteps near the bedroom door. My dog started barking. Then the footsteps moved away. When my husband asked if I was okay, I told him I heard our names. He said maybe it was the pipes because they can make a sound just like footsteps sometimes. After that, we never heard any noises in that house again. I worked night shift, and during my breaks I listened to ghost stories while I eat my dinner. The other day, while listening to a particularly good story, I was sitting in my truck eating a sandwich and suddenly I heard my name being called. I whipped my head around to look inside the hospital, but there was no one there. Everyone was on their shift and the doors were closed. I didn't think much of it. Maybe I was just tired and hearing things. But every day for 2 weeks after that, I heard my name being called while I was sitting in my truck eating my dinner on my break. Each time I would jump and turn around to look, but no one was there. I even checked the security cameras to see if a patient had wandered out. But each time it happened, it was just me and the ghosts. Finally, it stopped. I was very creeped out by it, but I've gotten used to it now. My name is Jesse, and I grew up hearing my name being called. I always just assumed it was my older brother messing with me because he could never pronounce my name properly. And he would try to call it Jess instead of Jesse, but then he would move on to bothering someone else. But one time I was in my room when I heard someone call my name. I was very sure it was my brother, so I opened my door and yelled at him to stop being annoying. That's when I saw my brother sitting in his room with a shocked expression on his face, as if he didn't call my name. But that's not even the weird part. The weird part is that my brother died 6 years ago. I was home alone one night and I was in bed. All of a sudden I heard my name being whispered, but it didn't sound like my dad or mom whispering my name, so I asked them, "Who's there?" Silence. I started to get really scared. Then I heard scratching sounds coming from my closet. I immediately got up and got out of bed and started to scream at the top of my lungs while running to the closet. I opened the closet door and turned on the light. Nothing. This happened again another night, and I did the same thing, and again, nothing. I'm still scared and I don't want to go home. I hope you enjoyed these very scary. True. A ghost whispers my name. Horror stories. If you did, please leave a like and comment below if you have a ghost story to share. Also, check out more content if you haven't already.